My name is Rachel Dworkin. I'm the archivist at the Chemung County Historical Society. Welcome to our panel discussion. Tonight we will be discussing the Chemung County's Black Oral History Project. From 1989 to 1991, we conducted a series of interviews with 22 members of the African American community in Elmira, discussing a range of issues. Tonight we'll be listening to some clips from those interviews and then discussing them. With me on the panel are
Michele Johnson. I am the CEO of YWCA Elmira and the Twin Tiers.
Georgia Verdier, and I'm president of the Elmira-Corning branch of the NAACP.
Dr. Jimmie Williams, retired from Corning Incorporated. I am also vice president of the NAACP.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya McGee, and I am currently a member of the executive board of the NAACP.
Okay, so this one is from Donald Blandford. Donald Blandford is talking a little bit about factories here in the 60s and 70s.
GE, there's a lot of difference. They had a lot of blacks at GE. Yeah. Because that was back in the 40s and 50s. They came here from the West Indies, the Jamaicans, some of them are still here. Because there was a labor shortage. Yes. But GE, the foundries were a little different. Kennedy Valve had a lot of blacks working. But Westinghouse was a factory type of thing, and Remington Rand was a factory type of thing. There wasn't that many blacks in the factories.
So what you're saying that as soon as there were skilled positions, those were the preserve of the whites.
That's right. Plumbers, electricians, you name it. You know.
Well, how did those open up to the blacks, or did they open up?
They didn't at first, because like I was just going to tell you, I took out application blanks all over the place. And I put them out in the churches, the barbershops, and every place else. And then we had a Black Employment Council here. Howard Coleman was the instigator getting that started. And we meet with management to get blacks into these slots and positions.
By we, that would be yourself and
the committee people, whoever, like Howard Coleman or Del Rouse or whoever, you know, was in that particular committee.
Yes.
It was a group. I forget what they call that group now. Southern Tier Employment Council, it was called.
Southern Tier
Employment Council.
Yeah.
And we had to work our cans off to get blacks into these jobs. And they had strict regulations. They had to be a high school graduate, which is stupid, because a lot of guys would want the entry job and would stay at the entry job, be it a janitor or whatever, you know.
Sure.
And we had to fight with management. And finally, we had to bring the EEOC people in. And we had several meetings with them, the Holiday Inn, and then Howard Johnson's. And then they came in and went through the ranks and found out that there was no black supervisors, there were no black secretaries. Yeah. And my argument with Westinghouse has been that Urban League had a skill bank. And you could go to the skill bank, or you could advance blacks from other Westinghouse locations, like Pittsburgh, where there's a large number of blacks, and bring them into the Elmira area. And finally, they did this.
So that was from Donald Blandford talking about labor discrimination going on here in the 60s and 70s. Has anyone been involved with the Southern Tier Employment Council? Do you know if that's still ongoing?
I go again. I don't know if that is ongoing, but I knew Donald and I know Howard Coleman. And I'd like to talk a little bit about their involvement back in the day when you're talking about jobs and difficulty. They were very, very active NAACP members and presidents and that kind of thing. And they worked the organization to get a lot of that done. They had marches and they did whatever they needed to do nonviolently, they did in order to bring attention to the need for people to get jobs in those entities. And what you mentioned about the criteria, like a high school education, and Jimmie mentioned earlier about how a lot of people weren't encouraged to get that black men and all of that. And so many of them didn't have high school education, but they had skills. They knew how to work and they could turn water to wine, if you will, given an opportunity. And these people were trying to get them in to let people know that, give them the opportunity and see, and because you go into a job, you're many times you're on probation or whatever they call it. I can't even think of the terminology I want to use now. And if you don't make it, they can let you go. So they were trying to get the door open, give them an opportunity to try. You might be surprised what they can do. And what is so interesting about all of that, we moved from some of that, but we still have some of the same type problems. We today have the civil service exam, and many jobs you have to take the civil service test. And you find, because I was part of the system, you find that many people who really have the qualities to work the job can't get it because they cannot score high enough on the test. And the good test takers get in and they don't have a clue about what they're doing many times. And so you have those type of barriers, and they're still out there.
Does anyone else have any comments to say about either about workplace discrimination or about Donald Blandford?
I'll just mention that it does dovetail with the previous quote, right? So, you get all of these degrees, and then like Georgia said, you run into having to take a civil service exam, or you run in having to have a certain amount of years of experience, just requirements that exclude a large amount of people. So I think that's definitely represented in the workplace today. There's definitely a lack of diversity personally in my fields and many others.
So you said you're an urban planner, is that correct, Tanya?
Yes, I'm county planner for Chemung County.
Okay.